As the April rain tapped softly against the window, a sinking weight settled deep in Jordan Wright's chest. The scent of damp earth wafted in with each drop, but all she could smell now was betrayal. Her fingers trembled as she stared at her phone, screens filled with screenshots that shimmered with lies, manipulation, and cold betrayal. It wasn't just about money. It was the years of trust she'd poured into a family that had been playing her all along. How could a simple misclick unravel everything? The truth was uglier than she'd imagined. Every text, every secret plan laid bare. Her family laughing while claiming they couldn't afford meds, upgrading cars while pretending they'd lost their heat, all while she poured her hard-earned savings into their lives, thinking she was doing right. What happens when everything you believed in turns out to be a hell of a lie? Jordan's life was about to change forever. But how far will she go to find the truth, and what will she do once she does? Rain hammered down outside, each drop a relentless drum echoing the chaos inside my head. Memory surged like a flood, families laughing around a dinner table, the scent of her baked chicken mixing with fresh-cut grass, sunlight streaming through the windows. Those days feel distant now, tainted by something I can't ignore. My mind flashes to her smile, innocent, trusting. But that trust? Crushed. Betrayal hangs thick in the air, heavy as the storm, weighing me down. I hear his dismissive laugh again, a sound I once found comforting. Now, it's razor-sharp, slicing through my resolve. Thunder rumbles, a reminder of the truth I've avoided, lurking just out of reach. How did I let this happen? What did I miss? The storm outside mirrors the tempest within. I brace myself, ready to face what's been buried, ready to break through the lies that built this nightmare. Because now, I have no choice but to see it all, and somehow, find my way back to what's real. Rain pounding the windows, a relentless rhythm that matches the storm inside me. I stare at the untouched luxury of the lakeside condo, the shimmering glass reflecting my trembling reflection. It's surreal. How did this happen? My fingers twitch over the phone, and then it crackles to life. My dad's voice, calm, steady, but distant, cuts through the silence. "Jordan, I gotta tell you something." My heart skips. The air feels thick, scent of rain and cold sweat mixing. I clutch the table, eyes fixed on the scatter of unpaid bills, the high-end watches they never needed, all bought with my hard-earned savings, money I thought was safe. He keeps talking, but I can't hear past the pounding in my head. Betrayal hits deeper than the storm. My parents, the people I trusted most, sucking me dry, hiding the truth. They've been draining my account, pretending they're struggling while flashing luxury on social media, laughing behind closed doors. The scene dissolves, reality crashing in like thunder. How could I have missed this? How deep does the deception go? My mind races, memories of family dinners, sunlit rooms, my father's reassuring laugh, now tainted with lies, and then a sudden silence. I stare out at the rain-streaked window. I realize this isn't just about money. It's about trust, integrity, family. How much longer can I keep pretending? The world feels colder. My resolve, hotter. What am I willing to do to find the truth? How far will I go to reclaim what's mine? Because in that frozen moment, I understand. There's no turning back, only facing what's real, no matter how painful. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to finally break free from the illusion they built around me, and find my own way. Jordan's grip tightens around her phone as the dim glow of her computer screen flickers with the unthinkable. Her family's secret betrayal glares back at her. The distant hum of the city outside is drowned by the pounding in her chest, her mind racing with the weight of broken trust. The quiet betrayal feels like a vacuum pulling her into a dark abyss. Will she find the strength to face the truth, or will the hidden lies engulf what's left of her faith in family forever? I skipped vacations, bought secondhand furniture, and cut corners on my own life to make sure they were comfortable. All so they could laugh at me, buy golf clubs, and take cruises while I worried if they were eating properly. I opened another tab and logged into the investment account I'd set up for them 3 years ago. My secret plan to surprise them with a supplemental retirement fund when they turned 70. I'd been contributing $1,000 monthly. The balance showed just over $42,000. My finger hovered over the Close Account button. Not yet. I needed a clear head for this. I called my best friend Megan, who was also my attorney. "They did what?" she practically screamed when I explained the situation. "I know," I said, my voice hollow. "I've been an idiot." "No, Jordan, you've been kind. They're the ones who should be ashamed." Her voice softened. "What do you want to do?" "I don't know," I admitted. Part of me wanted to cut them off completely. Another part wanted to confront them and hear them try to explain themselves. "Before you do anything, we need to review what you've set up for them legally. Are they on any of your accounts, insurance policies, the retirement supplement you mentioned?" I felt a chill. I hadn't even thought about all the ways we were financially entangled. Beyond the monthly transfers in the investment account, I'd added them to my premium health insurance policy as dependents 2 years ago. My father's heart medication, which I now questioned the existence of, was covered under my plan. They were also beneficiaries on my life insurance policy. I need to untangle all of this, I realized aloud. "One step at a time," Megan counseled. "First, gather all the documentation of what you've given them. Bank statements, texts asking for money, everything. Second, make a list of all financial connections you need to sever. Third, decide if you want to communicate with them about why you're doing this." As I hung up, my phone buzzed with a new message. The storm outside raged on, mirroring the turmoil within me. I was on the brink of a revelation, and the truth was waiting just beyond the horizon. The rain-slick streets glistened under the dull glow of streetlights. A distant leaf rustled, the only sound in the long silence washing over Jordan. She sat at her laptop, the soft click of keys echoing her quiet determination. Every stroke, a step closer to the truth she'd been chasing for years. Her fingers trembled slightly, but her gaze was steady, focused on uncovering the lies buried deep beneath her family's polished veneer. Her mind replayed that text from her mother, the words dripping with concern. "Your father is very upset. His blood pressure is through the roof because of your behavior." How many times had they tried to make her feel guilty, manipulate her into submission? Not anymore. That false softness, the staged emergencies. She saw through it now. She forced herself to open a new document titled Family Financial Support. 5 years. She listed every supposed emergency, sacrifice dollar, every passive demand she'd ignored. Page after page, the truth unfurled. Hurt, yes. But also a fierce resolve. She wasn't just angry. She was done. Done pretending. Done fighting to keep the peace while being punched by the weight of betrayal. Her world sharpened with clarity as dawn broke. Her back straightened, and suddenly, everything was simple. Steady. Before doubt could slip in, she picked up her phone and called her community center. She needed today for herself. Nothing else mattered but this raw, honest reckoning, Jordan Wright speaking. 20 minutes later, the phone buzzed. Samuel from Vermont Community Bank. His voice calm, professional, yet holding a hint of understanding. "Miss Wright, I'm returning your call about your account closure." A faint pause, then she responded, "Yes, thank you for calling back so quickly." Deep breath. Her voice was steady but resolute. "I need to close the supplemental retirement account I set up for Robert and Patricia Wright." "May I ask if there's a problem with the account?" "No problem with the account," she said, voice gentle but firm. "Just issues with the intended recipients." She confirmed her identity, her authority. Her voice didn't waver. This wasn't just about closing a bank account. It was about reclaiming what was stolen, piece by piece. Samuel explained the process. She nodded with quiet certainty as he outlined the steps. The $2,780 would be back in her primary account within 3 days. Is there anything else? Yes, I want to cancel all recurring transfers to their joint account, the $3,000 monthly. Stop that immediately. Her tone was calm, decisive. No room for argument. No more enabling. Just a quiet promise. She was done chasing false hope, done carrying their weight. Her path was clear now, and for the first time in a long while she felt the faint scent of resilience hanging in the air, grounding her in the truth that, at last, she was finally free. The bank, to finalize our separation. As I typed, the old scent of rain outside crept through the window. Humid, heavy, a reminder that sometimes storms come from inside the house. I had thought I'd closed every door to that ghost of my past, but that last connection, the student loan, still lingered like a stubborn shadow. Kevin's message buzzed again. I hesitated. Was he caught in their web, or truly remorseful? I wondered who he'd become in their shadow. By nightfall, I looked around the room, empty now of their weight, feeling the cool relief that comes with finally cutting the cord. The truth had been slow to surface, but now that I'd faced it, everything started to feel clearer, like that moment when the rain finally stops and the clouds part just enough to see the sky. I knew the journey wasn't over, but at least I'd stepped one step closer to reclaim what's mine, to build my own story. And I realized this was how you grow stronger. Not by ignoring what's broken, but by Jordan Wright sat in her dimly lit living room, the weight of her decision pressing down like a heavy fog. The silence shattered with the doorbell's chime, a sound that echoed dread and anticipation. She glanced at the clock, her heart racing. Was this the moment her past would come crashing back? The familiar ring felt like a harbinger of chaos, a reminder of the family she had fought so hard to sever ties with. The scent of her cold coffee lingered, a bitter reminder of sleepless nights spent in turmoil. Each step toward the door made her resolve waver, the truth of her family's betrayal looming larger than ever. She had just sent an email detailing the financial support she had provided over the years, $221,800, meticulously documented. The duplicity of her parents, Robert and Patricia, was laid bare, their manipulation exposed in their own words. Do not contact me again unless it is to repay what you have taken under false pretenses, she had written, her voice steady, yet filled with the weight of betrayal. For the first time in years, her money was truly her own. But peace was fleeting. 3 days of blessed silence shattered when the doorbell rang at 8:30 p.m. Peering through the peephole, she saw her parents and Kevin, their faces twisted in anger and panic. She didn't open the door. Instead, she called Megan, her voice barely above a whisper. They're at my house. Don't let them in. Trust me, Jordan. If they get inside, it'll be much harder to get them out, Megan warned. The doorbell rang again, followed by a pounding. Jordan, her father shouted. You can't just cut us off without talking. With a racing heart, she texted Kevin. I have nothing to say. Please leave, or I'll call the police. Through the peephole, she watched Kevin check his phone, show it to her parents, and then engage in a heated discussion. Her mother appeared to be crying, while her father's face turned an alarming shade of red. What would it take to finally break free? Would they ever understand the pain they had caused? The tension in the air was palpable, thick with unresolved emotions. Jordan felt the storm brewing inside her, but she stood firm. This was her moment. She was ready to reclaim her truth, to confront the chaos that had defined her life for too long. As the rain began to patter against the window, she took a deep breath, the scent of rain mixed with the bitterness of her cold coffee, grounding her in the reality that she was no longer a victim. She was a warrior, determined to fight for her integrity and her future. The journey ahead was uncertain, but she was ready to face it head-on. Would she find the strength to stand her ground? Only time would tell. The night hangs heavy, shadows crawling across the walls as I try to breathe. My hands tremble over my phone, the screen flickering like a heartbeat, fast, unpredictable. Outside, distant sirens wail, unsettling echoes of chaos, but inside, it's even worse. The weight of betrayal presses down, suffocating. I feel it especially when I think about the lies, the manipulation spun from years of family deception. I wonder, how deep do the secrets run? Is the truth hiding in the shadows, waiting to come out, or will silence swallow everything whole? Just as I consider breaking my silence, my resolve flickers. I grasp my phone tighter. Maybe it's time to finally face them, confront what's been hiding behind their smiles. Or maybe the silence is safer, the darkness more comforting. The screen flickers again, then goes dark. Now I sit incomplete, caught between two worlds, the hope of clarity and the threat of losing myself forever. Will I finally find the courage to step into the light? Or am I already lost in the shadows that threaten to swallow me whole? Jordan's hands trembled as she stared at the foreclosure notice clutched tightly in her palm. The garage was dark, save for the flickering glow of her phone screen, an ominous red light that felt like a countdown. Smoke curling from the device, the scent of stale air, and betrayal hung heavy in the silence. Her breath hitched, uneven. Every pixel on her screen seemed to scream her own doubts. Then a flash, an image that shattered everything. It wasn't just bad news, it was proof of her family's ruthless deception. Her heart hammered. Doubt crept in, snaking through her veins. Could she trust her own eyes? Was the core of her world just a lie? Her fists clenched, fighting back tears. The weight of this revelation threatened to crush her. She had fought so hard to believe in her family. Now, did that hope stand a fighting chance? Or was this heartbreak the final blow she couldn't survive? The silence stretched as she soaked in the cold truth. Her mind raced. What's next? Can she stay strong enough to face whatever comes? Or will this last shock break her entirely? Her pulse quickens. Waiting. In that heavy pause, only one thing certain. The storm inside her is just beginning. The silence was thick, almost suffocating. I just hung up from my Uncle Pete, his voice flat, telling me about the call he'd gotten from my dad. "They asked to stay with you?" I whispered, voice cracking. That's when it hit me. It's been 5 years. 5 years I'd worked my tail off trying to be everything they needed. The success, the support, the stability. I thought I was everything they wanted. But now, I'm leaving my session, and out of nowhere, my phone rings. I almost don't answer. But I do. It's Uncle Pete. "Jordan, it's your Uncle Pete. I just got a strange call from your dad, asking if he and your mom could move in. Said you cut them off financially. Said they're about to lose their house." My stomach twists. I exhale slowly. "Uncle Pete, it's complicated." He sighs, voice flat but knowing. "Your dad's always had a talent for twisting the story. Want to tell me your side?" I explain. Screenshots, lies about medical bills, the history of deception. My voice trembles as I lay it all out, a long, heavy silence. Then, he finally speaks. "Your dad tried the same stunt with me years ago. That's why we're not close." It hits me. How many times had I been blind? How many times did I defend them? "Why didn't you warn me?" I ask. He shrugs, tone almost resigned. "Would you have believed me? They convinced you, just like they did me. They needed a hero, and that hero was you." His words echo in my mind. I always thought I was the one holding us together. Turns out I was just bait, used. That night I get a text from Kevin using a number I don't recognize. "Mom and Dad are moving into my spare room next week. They're selling the condo." I stare at the screen. My heart skips. Dad's furious about it. I don't reply. Days pass. Another message. The condo's gone, and I'm left staring at the wreckage of a family's lies, wondering what's real anymore. The scent of old leather filled the air as Jordan stood in the driveway, staring at the empty space where her father's car used to be. Memories flooded back, her father's laughter echoing in the garage, the warmth of family dinners now replaced by a chilling silence. The weight of betrayal pressed down on her chest, each heartbeat a reminder of the lies that had unraveled their lives. She could almost hear the faint rustle of the email notification, a digital ghost haunting her thoughts, urging her to confront the pain she had tried to bury. Is this what family had become? A web of deceit and broken promises? The rain began to fall, the scent of wet pavement mixing with her turmoil. She thought of the last time she had reached out, the desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, they would change. But that hope had crumbled, leaving only the stark reality of their choices. Weeks passed, and the silence was deafening. An email from an unknown sender broke through the stillness. "Message from your parents," it read. They had enlisted a family friend to reach out since she had blocked them everywhere. The email detailed how they had been forced to sell most of their furniture, how her father's health was deteriorating from the stress, and how they had to apply for food stamps, something her proud father considered humiliating. Did they really think she would fall for their manipulation again? She considered it for all of 5 seconds before hitting delete. Their idea of an apology would be whatever they thought might turn the money faucet back on. She was done being their ATM. For the first time in years, her money was going toward her future, not their pretend emergencies. The guilt faded, replaced by something unexpected: freedom. 6 months after cutting off all contact, she returned home from a business trip to find her parents sitting on her porch steps. Her father had lost weight, and her mother's carefully maintained highlights had grown out, revealing gray roots. They wore clothes she didn't recognize, cheaper, more worn than their usual attire. Her instinct screamed to turn around and drive away. But Dr. Bennett had prepared her for this moment in therapy. She was stronger now. She could face them without crumbling. "Jordan," her father said, his voice barely above a whisper. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the past pressing down on her. "What do you want?" The rain began to fall harder, each drop a reminder of the storm that had brewed between them. Would they finally take responsibility, or would this be another round of their familiar games? As she stood there, heart racing, she realized this was her moment. The truth was waiting, and she was ready to confront it, being manipulated. I parked in the driveway and approached slowly, my heart pounding. "What are you doing here, Jordan?" My mother's voice cracked. "Please, we just want to talk. We've learned our lesson." My father added, "These past months have been hell." I unlocked my door. "You have 5 minutes inside." They perched awkwardly on my couch while I remained standing, arms crossed. "We're sorry," my mother began. "We never should have taken advantage of your generosity." My father nodded. "We've lost everything. The condo, the car, our savings. We had to move in with Kevin, and his place is so small. Your mother has to sleep on a pull-out couch. The country club revoked our membership. My mother added all our friends there. They don't call anymore. My medication costs have been terrible without your insurance." My father continued. "Medicare doesn't cover everything. I listened to them list everything they'd lost, waiting for an actual apology. It never came. There was no, 'We're sorry, we hurt you,' or 'We were wrong to mock you.' Just a catalog of their hardships and implied blame that I had caused them. Is that it I asked? When they finally fell silent, 'We want to make things right,' my mother said, 'We've really suffered, Jordan. We've learned our lesson.' What lesson would that be?" They exchanged glances that we shouldn't have taken you for granted. My father finally said, translation, "They should have been more careful about getting caught." "No," I said softly. "You haven't learned anything." "What do you mean?" My mother asked, her voice rising slightly. We came all this way to apologize. No. You came all this way to tell me how much you've suffered without my money. Not once have you acknowledged how your betrayal made me feel. We said we're sorry. My father protested for getting caught. Maybe not for what you did. I took a deep breath in the past 6 months. I've thought a lot about what a healthy family looks like. It's not this. It's not treating your child like an ATM and mocking her. The living room's dim glow touched everything. The old wood, faded faux. Baldy like an ATM and mocking her. The living room's dim glow touched everything. The old wood, faded photos, and the heavy silence that seemed thick enough to cut with a knife. Jordan stood there, heart racing, feeling the weight of betrayal crushing her chest. The air smelled like rain and old memories, mingling with her quiet resolve. Her voice broke the hush, trembling but firm. I've had enough. Tears shimmered in her mother's eyes, a stark contrast to her father's clenched jaw, anger etched deep into his face. Jordan drew a shaky breath, then found her voice again. Steady, purposeful. I'm done pretending. I won't be part of this anymore. The words echoed, final and heavy. In that moment, everything shifted, her chains of obligation shattered, and she stepped into her own light. No more silence. No more hiding. Just truth. Raw, honest, and hers. Her future. Hers to own.